Welcome back to our program. Drive through many parts of South Florida and you see lots of beautiful buildings filled with empty condo units. You'll also find older buildings where condo associations are having a tough time right now staying afloat. The banking meltdown and skyrocketing foreclosure rates have greatly impacted the condo market, and now some of the rules are changing, the rules of the game, that is. My guest this morning will help us sort through all of this. He is Robert Kaye, a partner in the Fort Lauderdale law firm of Kaye and Bender. And Robert, thanks a lot for being here. You specialize in condominium law. What is changing as far as the rules for purchasing a condo?
Well, one of the major components is the ability to finance, to get lenders willing to provide mortgages to condominium purchases. And in 2009, both Fannie Mae and FHA had tightened these guidelines to the point where it was virtually impossible to get financing. And these have been rolled back a bit so that it's going to stimulate some of the abilities to get financing and further purchase units.
Now, when we say FHA, people should know that this is a great way to be able to buy a condo or a home without putting as much money down. But do there are income limits on this? How does one go about getting an FHA loan as opposed to a conventional loan?
Well, the first and most important factor is that the community has to qualify under the FHA guidelines. And there was a time, and it's extending through February of this year, that they would spot check the individual properties that were being sold. But after February, the communities have to be certified under the warranty of the FHA in order to qualify. So that's an issue that many condominium associations are going to need to look to their own specific situation, see if they can bring their community into compliance with the guidelines so that they will qualify.
What's happening with some condominium associations where you have people who are living in these condos who are not paying their association fees? You have people who are under foreclosure who are not paying their mortgages and aren't paying anything. And how is that impacting the condo associations?
Well, it has an extreme impact, and the big problem is that the communities need the money from their assessments to operate and maintain the facilities. And when a unit is in foreclosure, typically nobody's paying, and the lenders are taking significantly longer to complete their foreclosures than is required under normal circumstances. And it's not because there is extensive backlogs in the court. Certainly there is, but that's not the main reason why it's taking 18 months to 2 years to finish a foreclosure that should take 8 to 10 months. So the lenders are dragging their feet intentionally, and all the while associations are not having the necessary funds to operate. People are living within the unit, so communities are taking a little bit more extreme measures. They're requiring owners that are renting their units to sign documents to allow them to collect the rents from the tenants if they fall behind. A lot of associations are pursuing their own foreclosures where they used to sit back and wait for the lender. Now they're being more aggressive and they're foreclosing themselves because they have the ability to do that under the law.
Are there some residents, whether they're owners or renters, who are really taking advantage of the process and saying, hey, this is my chance to live for free and not pay rent, not pay mortgage, and not pay a condo association fee?
Yes, this happens in a lot of cases.
And what can the association do about this? Because if they're not paying their fair share for all the costs of keeping the condominium up to speed, it's not fair for the other people who live there.
Well, they're not only not paying their costs, but they're getting the benefit of a lot of the resources. Many communities have bulk cable agreements where they're providing cable TV even though they're not paying for it, and that irritates many of the unit owners. The unfortunate aspect of today's laws is that the only remedy available to the association is to file their lien and foreclose on their lien as quickly as possible to get the people out who aren't paying. And that process can take 6 to 8 months on a most average basis and can cost $3,000 to $3,500. And associations have to be prepared for that type of expense to resolve that problem. The legislature is considering other options, but until they actually adopt them, they're not available.
What advice do you have to people who are thinking about purchasing a condo and see, there's some great deals out there, short sales or whatever the case may be, but they're hesitant because of what we're talking about, that maybe I'm going to get into a situation where this condo association isn't getting enough money and I don't want to be part of that problem. What advice do you have for people?
Well, certainly you need to look at the condominium itself. You need to make sure that there are sufficient resources to operate the property. The condominium budget should be available upon request. You could determine by asking the question of what level of delinquencies they're experiencing, how many owners are in foreclosure and what that situation is. Are there any special assessments that are existing? How many might be contemplated? Things of that nature, so that you don't find yourself buying into a place and then suddenly hit with a large special assessment because other people